Hello everybody, as Andy mentioned in his recent video about booking online for our reopening of church, I'm here today just to give you some details about the measures that we've put in place in order to reopen church safely. There'll be a document that we emailed to you all which will summarise everything that I'm going to say. All of these measures are in place as part of our risk assessment that has been approved by the Elim National Leadership Team in July this year. What's really important is that you don't see these measures as just as suggested guidelines. They are the measures that have been approved that will allow us to open safely and as normal as possible. And to that end, everybody has the responsibility to follow these measures. We will review them regularly and we'll adjust them where it's necessary. What we don't want to do is to be adjusting them on the fly just before a service, during a service, unless that's absolutely necessary. So it'll be appreciated if you don't try to engage myself or Andy or anybody else with suggestions during a service. I'm happy to talk about things outside of the service, but not whilst we're actually there. We've all got used to different measures when we go to the supermarket, to a cafe, in schools as they've opened, and workplaces. So I think it's reasonable to expect a sort of calm compliance with these measures within our church building. So before a service, as Andy said, we'll be using an online booking service to avoid overload of any service, as we do have a restrict and reduced capacity. We still want to have a bit of capacity for a drop-in visitor, so that we're an inclusive, welcoming church. So for people involved in the church, it's vital that you book those in advance. The link for each service will be sent out via the WhatsApp, the WhatsApp group that many of us have been using. If you don't have any access to the internet, or you know somebody who would like to come who doesn't have access to the internet, perhaps you could do a booking via a friend to make sure that you have a seat. So everyone who visits must comply with the measures to ensure the safety of everyone. Everybody must be free of Covid-19 symptoms or had any recent contact with anybody showing symptoms or who's been self-isolating. If you have been self-isolating or been in quarantine yourself, it's important that period of quarantine or self-isolation has come to its proper end. We would ask you to wash your hands before you leave, and one of the first things you'll be asked on arrival is to use some hand sanitizer. Unless you have a medical condition that makes that impossible, and you can discuss that with us. We would ask everybody will be asked to wear a mask whilst on the premises, and maintain social distancing with everyone other than in your household. If you're coming with children, and we do hope that families will feel happy and comfortable to bring children, but parents, it will be your responsibility to make sure that your children comply with these measures as well. So entry to the building will be allowed 15 minutes before the service, and will only be through the main front door. Please don't come earlier than 15 minutes before the service unless you have a specific job to perform and have been told that by Andy in advance. If anyone needs wheelchair access or level access, if you let us know in advance, we can arrange entry through the rear door. Please also try not to be late, as it's important that we can safely and carefully manage arrivals. You'll be welcomed by, excuse me, not the normal welcome team, but somebody who's very au fait with all of these regulations. And hopefully they'll give you a cheery welcome as usual, but we'll also make sure that you're wearing a mask and that you sanitize your hands on arrival. Once you're in the foyer, entry into the main room will be only through the left-hand door as you arrive. You'll be a second person welcoming you there, who will show you to your seat. You'll also be checked that you have booked. If you haven't booked, then if there may be, you'll have to wait then to see whether there is still capacity for you to take a seat. So the person inside the hall will help you to find the right seat. Would ask you to please go straight to your seat and stay there. All exits from the building, unless we have an emergency evacuation, will be through the rear door. So we have a one-way system operating. With basically 3 types of seating: single seats, which are for people coming on their own; double seats, people coming in a pair; or there'll be some group areas intended for families. These will all be clearly visible, and as I say, somebody who's on welcoming will help you find the right seat. We expect you to go to your seat and remain there for the duration of the service, other than going to the toilet. Standing, of course, is perfectly acceptable and encouraged. The group areas are intended for families. These are marked off with tape. There'll be a table there, but the family's responsibility to make sure everyone remains within that area. Just to be clear, there'll be no Sunday school for a time. When that opens, of course, we'll let you know, and the upstairs will be out of bounds. Family group areas will have a table to help engage particularly younger children in activities. So if you want to bring paper, pencils, colouring, reading, whatever, please bring your own, and make sure you take it away at the end. We will be taking communion, as we have done 2 or 3 times during lockdown, but using the same arrangement as lockdown, we want you to bring your own bread and wine, whatever that is, and we will take communion all together. So we will not be serving bread and wine. In a similar way, there will be no refreshments, but please bring hot or cold drinks if you wish to, but the kitchen will be closed and will be out of bounds. Just a little word on music and singing. Sung worship is an important part of our gathering. Obviously for me it's something that's very close to my heart, but for now, for a period, we're not allowed communal singing. As soon as we are, then we will restart that, but at the moment we can't. There will be a reduced amount of sung worship from the platform, and we ask that you sing in your heart, or perhaps speak the words softly. I know this is disappointing. There's nobody more disappointed about this than me, but it is what it is. And you know, let's be clear. God will still hear our praise and worship, even if it's spoken softly, even if it's just inside. There'll be no formal offering. There'll be no offering bag going round. A lot of people do their tithes and offerings by direct debit. If you are somebody who would normally give at church, that'll still be possible, and there'll be a no contact offering box near the exit door. And we do encourage people to continue to support the church financially. If you need to use the toilet, use the other door than the one you came in. So that'll be the left as you look at it from the hall, and when you come back in through the door that you entered in. So we have a one-way system in effect. The church will be cleaned prior to each service, and our cleaners will be provided with the appropriate PPE. Just a few other bits and pieces. Normally we have spare chairs available, so if we have to pack people in like sardines, we can do. There won't be any spare chairs. Once we're full, and nobody else will be admitted. That's why the online booking is so important. Where it's practical, we'll have the windows and the doors open to maintain a flow of fresh air, which is seen to be important at these times. If that means we have to have the heating on in August, we'll have the heating on in August. Any visitors who are casual, not members of the church, will be required to give contact details for the purpose of tracing and testing. And we'll have plenty of signs up and people to guide you and show you what to do to make sure you do everything right. So that's about it, really. I mean, getting together is something that many of us have been looking forward to. Some people will be very anxious about it. Some people will be very confident and quite kind of gung-ho about it. What we do need is everybody to respect the measures that we've put in place and respect the fact that different people will have different levels of anxiety and different levels of confidence. Some of the measures you might like and think are very sensible and reassuring. Some of them you might not. Some of them you might hate. But please don't not come just because you don't like the measures. Even getting together in different circumstances has got to be better than not getting together at all. And it'll be for a season, it won't be forever. But they are the measures that we are using in order to be able to reopen. Without them, we can't reopen. We will review regularly. Where we can relax them, we will do. If you've got any questions, feel free to email me or give me a call. There is an accompanying document and my contact details are on the bottom of there. I'm very happy to discuss anything. I hope you found this useful. Sorry it's gone on a little bit, but I think it's important that you all have clear information, and I do genuinely look forward to seeing as many of you as possible. I would encourage you to come. If you're not sure, just come and give it a try. Look forward to seeing you. Take care.